I'm told this is the fourth or the fifth in the series of webinars that the school is organizing. The School of Management Studies has runs about five programs. One of the program which we started in 2008, of which I was very closely involved, I must say, was way back in 2008. Since then, we have been going strength, by strength, and today we have more than 12 batches from the MBA Healthcare and Hospital Management. Um, what makes us different at the school is to do things differently and concentrate on contemporary topics. And the contemporariness of the situation drives us to do more and more. And this is where I think, the webinar series that the School of Management has taken upon itself to talk about what is very, very contemporary today, which is about the COVID-19 and its implications to all of us, is one such thing. So today we have an eminent speaker, Mr. Pranab Kumar, um, and without losing much of a time, I'm Professor Sita, the senior most faculty in the school, welcoming all of you to this webinar. As you're all aware, I think we've heard, we have read about world wars that have shaken the world. None of us were, born, of course, but then we did read about it. But then today we experience one pandemic which is really shaking the entire planet, and two words that which we really see on everybody's mind is health, which is wealth. So this is where it's not money, but it is a health and wellness, which is the two words that are ringing in everybody's minds, and all our efforts, be it be spiritual, be it be physical, be it be mental, be it be advisory, is tuned towards the health and wellness of somebody or the other, near, dear, or all those whom you might not even know. So this is where I think the world is, and I'm really, I should say, uh, very happy to hear, many of my professional colleagues sending messages from Australia, from US, from Europe, from other places, inquiring about me, family, and the school and my colleagues. So this is really heartening, where the news about India and how the pandemic is really threatening the life and health of each and every individual in the country, is something which is a cause of concern to everyone across the globe. So today we are here with an eminent speaker who would share his experience, his thoughts on what is COVID all about, and how should we take care of our health, how do we take care, how do we manage our health. And this is where my hearty welcome to the speaker, my hearty welcome to my colleagues here, and colleagues from the other university, and the students here. So over to Abhilasha to continue the proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like Ranjit sir to speak a few words.
Thank you, Sita ma'am. Thank you, Pranab Kumar sir. We are really very much eager to listen to you on a very contemporary topic, which is of great importance, and we all are facing the problem, and you can throw light what is really happening in society, as well as how industry is responding. Our young students from both Chitkara and our guests and our University of Hyderabad, the students, and are really very much eager to listen from you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Over to Avila, sir.
I would like Acharyalu sir to say a few words.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah. So, good evening, sir. I think I welcome Pranav Kumarji for interacting with our students, and we are very eagerly uh, looking forward to your kind advice and what are the managerial aspects to be taken care during this COVID world. So, thank you, sir. Thank you for accepting our offer, and uh, thank you. Thank you. All the best, sir.
Thanks.
Oh, God bless, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir, will you please start the presentation, sir? I
Thank you.
request Pranav sir to start the presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Shitavanka, Professor Ranjit, and Professor GVRK Acharyulu, which is my friend for last at least 1.5 years. We are very closely talking to each other, sharing our ideas also. Thank you for inviting me. My pleasure to talking to students after a long gap. I think last time I spoke to the MBA student was before COVID, directly in campus in an annual business enclave in IIM Sirmaur. I used to talk almost every quarter, one or other premier management institutes. Uh, that's the way I get myself energy and update about the new talent, new technology, and the new world which is going to happen. We are people from the old world, and it is always inspiring to talk to the people who are going to shape the new world. So I'm very privileged. I must acknowledge that, and thanks one of my friend and mentor who's having experience double than me is also here in this webinar now as a guest. Professor Vivek Hatangadi. He is author of many management books from Ahmedabad, and it is always pleasure when you talk in presence of somebody who is so acclaimed, which again gives you more insight and help you to shape up your conversation better. So thank you, Professor Hatangadi, to joining this conversation. And I'm happy to see students of both the university. University of Hyderabad, I'm personally associated with for last 1.5 years more closely. As a collaborator, as a partner, developing programs for the healthcare professionals. And with University of Chitkara, actually, this is my first indirect or direct association with them. So thanks the students and the faculty from that University of Chitkara also. Let me share with you some of the points I have just put in the slides. And then I want you to speak out. I want you to share. I want this as a conversation about how this COVID-19 has shaped or changed the healthcare management as a discipline and as a practice. Because you are the people who are going to manage tomorrow's healthcare establishment, tomorrow's hospital, tomorrow's system of healthcare. So knowing your perspective is also important for us, and we see that wherever we can add any value, that will be a contribution from our side to you. So let me share my uh, presentation, and during the presentation itself, feel free to intervene anytime to me, and you can ask questions anytime. I'm very open that way. So we will be discussing as well as we will be uh, conversing as well. So as Avilasa said that I'm after 25 years working in the industry, I launched this company Prakamya in 2018 October, and we are a couple of professionals who are expert in different discipline came together and worked together for improving patient experience and customer experience in particularly healthcare and life science industry. Let me tell you about Prakamya name. Usually people have a name which is an English name as a name of the company, but I choose a Sanskrit name. And I'm sure many of you might be knowing that, but just want to tell you about the name of Prakamya because people ask me. I remember the first question in IIM asked to me is that what is the meaning of your company name? So I thought to put it first here. Prakamya means freedom of will, freedom of will. Get whatever you want easily in your life. You must be knowing Hanuman Chalisa. In Hanuman Chalisa, there is a stanza, Asht Siddhi Nau Nidhi Ke Data. Asht Siddhi, 8 Siddhis. Prakamya is one of the 8 Siddhis. Anyway, that's the name of my company. My company got acknowledged, adjudged as one of the top 20 company in India, across industry in customer experience. So I thought to put my conversation with you in 5 pillars. And our conversation will focus or revolve around these 5 pillars, which is very obvious. There could be many more topics, but I thought to limit my conversation in these 5 points. The first point is healthcare organization. This is a micro level at the organization level, because many of you are going to join the career in managing a hospital or managing a company working with hospital. So you should understand that how the COVID-19 is affecting healthcare organization, healthcare environment and ecosystem as a whole, what change in the ecosystem, healthcare value and business model. Is there any change happened which has a long-term bearing? It is not just a COVID time, but beyond that also in healthcare system. And fourth thing is very important at this point at at the COVID-19 time, healthcare professional leadership. I'm not talking about just a medical leadership. I'm talking about healthcare professional leadership. It includes healthcare professionals like doctors, as well as all the people associated with healthcare, whether it's pharmaceutical or I will tell you a little wider canvas, which is now driven by the government of India as well, and with the healthcare. And last is the most important for you is the healthcare management profession as a key discipline, how you are going to shape post-COVID-19 world. So let me start with what changed in healthcare organization. So can I ask you, I just said that I'm not going to be a monologue. I would be requesting you so you can unmute your microphone at least and share your points. I may not be able to see your many times name also. So please introduce your name. And before answering my question, I request you, all the students who will be sharing your point, to tell what you want to be 5 years from now in your career, in a one sentence. Don't give me full explanation. Just give what you want to be 5 years down the line in your career, and then respond to my question. So my question is, and I request volunteers to respond. My question is that for a micro organization in healthcare, what you see had been changed, which is phenomenal and lasting change by COVID-19. Anybody can respond, please. Any volunteer, please?
Yes, sir. This is Abhilasha, sir. I would like to see myself as an effective manager 5 years from now. And the change that is the post-COVID, the protocol has changed, sir. More precautions has come into the place. Previously, there was easy movement of the people, and now it has been restricted, sir.
Okay.
Even the money transactions, everything has changed a lot. More digital payments has come into play.
Very good point. The most important thing, Abhilasha, that you have broken the ice, because who will respond first is usually a problem. So thank you for removing that hurdle. I think everybody will be comfortable now to respond that. And as you rightly said, the kind of mobility required or used to be in hospital is now changed. Anybody can't go anywhere like that. That's a good point. There is some larger point. Any other person, any other students who would like to share? If nobody is responding, then I will tell the name also.
Go ahead, students.
I request my batchmate to come forward.
Okay, so take your time. There are many questions here. Let me go further. Let me tell you what I saw as a consultant to hospital, as a consultant to pharmaceutical company, what has changed in healthcare, right? So COVID-19, when it came, nobody was prepared for. Nobody was even anticipated that, world anticipated that there will be world war. They were doing a lot of things prepare to world war. But nobody anticipated that there will be something called COVID-19, which impact the entire world. So, and the responsibility to address that was to individual hospital. They don't know how to diagnose which kind of disease it is, what are the symptoms. The situations are totally different. That is the huge problem for any healthcare professional or any healthcare organization. But what happened? See, multiple things happened. The first thing happened with the lockdown last year when in the night when Prime Minister Modi said that tomorrow onwards everything will be closed. The patient in hospital, all the IP patient, elective surgeries, some of my friends who are gastroenterologists, they were totally free, no job, because nobody want to do get endoscopy done. Nobody want a PTCA. All elective kind of procedures got closed. And you know that the business comes to hospital from the surgery, by the hospitalization, by the diagnostic test in the hospital, right? So revenue to a macro hospital from the IP in the beginning I'm talking about was totally stopped. It opened, and now hospitals are actually getting more patient, many times more patient in COVID patient rather than what they used to treat early. So all the specialty wherever they have proven their supremacy, they have specialized in that business got a huge setback. And it was not for a 1 week or 2 week. Even now, it for certain specialty, it is still on halt or very slowly getting up with the some alternative route. So the revenue model for a hospital totally got changed. Some hospital took telemedicine, tried, and some made fortune out of that. One of my friend, he owns a hospital. His name is Dr. Pradeep Kumar in Bangalore. He owns a hospital there called Brookfield Hospital. For 15 years, he was struggling to establish hospital, doing collaboration with Apollo, blah, blah, so many things. But last 1 year, I can't imagine. Yesterday, Thursday, I was talking to him for 3 hours, actually, in a video conference. And I saw his plan. Now he is entering into Bombay Stock Exchange. He's diversifying and going pan-India. The kind of phenomenal thing happened. How it happened? Because he swiftly changed from in-house model to remote model. He used all a specialist doctor to do telemedicine, and not only that, the diagnostic also changed. And see, what I was saying, that COVID-19 brought for some hospital a lot of gloomy picture, but many hospitals, some hospitals who changed themselves swiftly, they boomed like anything. Like my friend Brookfield Hospital, now they are going to IPO, expansion. Home care players were never taken seriously by big player like Apollo or Max, but now they are facing challenge with Call Health and Nightingale. Nightingale is owned by one of my friend, batchmate, actually was struggling, and now he's growing like anything. So many home care services. These are the change happen in competition. If you do SWOT analysis of a particular hospital being a CEO, just assume that you are a CEO of a particular hospital, do the SWOT analysis, then we see that a lot of changes happen which was not forecasted by anybody, right? Major hospitals started home sample collection. Central air condition. See, most of the hospital across the globe in India, they made a facility infrastructure such a way that everything is centralized. AC is centralized. You don't see any window in many of the hospital. And you know that what happens now, COVID-19 virus flow in the circulates in the AC. So that became a risky. Even the mall type of a structure, that they closed down the AC. So those things become a sort of white elephant. It's a huge change. You invested a lot to create infrastructure which is closed, centrally conditioned, air conditioned, and now it became inappropriate. And the most important thing, as I said, about the retailing started, retail revolution started in healthcare. While I'm talking to you, my friend, in front of me, my window is open, and in front of me is the school building called Glendale Academy School, just adjacent to my home. That school from today became Apollo Hospital. Glendale Academy School, many of you might be knowing this school, the big school in Hyderabad, is now Apollo Hospital from today. There are patients in front of me sitting there. So this is new phenomenon. Nobody has anticipated that. It happened. That is a drastic change. In ecosystem, you know that Government of India and many governments across the globe had changed the outlay, improved the share of budget allocation to healthcare, which never was that much. Focus on infrastructure, public health, regulatory flexibility. There was a lot of bill were pending, like for telehealth, telemedicine, data portability bills were ready and pending for several years. Government passed that bill in COVID-19 time. So that government realized that this is a time to accept that. Innovation, a lot of innovation happened. 13th April this year, Government of India has launched a new program called One Health program. Indian Institute of One Health, like IIM, there will be institutions called Indian Institute of One Health, right? By Government of India. And One Health is a new concept. I don't know how many people know that. One Health being taught, being talked about for long by WHO. Nobody was paying attention to One Health. Now the kind of thing happened in COVID, the viruses from animal kingdom entering into the human kingdom and infecting human being. You know that 70% of the virus which is infecting to human being came from originally from the animal. So it is important to integrate healthcare system. Animal husbandry, agriculture, pharmaceutical, medical science, management science all need to be integrated, and healthcare should be seen as an integrated service, integrated approach. And Government of India has done that. And there is no university in Asia who I think, as I know that globally there are one or two universities, but in Asia there is no university where there is a course for One Health. And my friend, you will be happy to know that University of Hyderabad became the first university to launch, going to launch. Academic Council of University of Hyderabad already accepted that proposal from us means Infection Control Academy of India, to launch a new course in One Health, a master degree program. We are going to launch One Health. So University of Hyderabad is privileged to be first university in the Asia or in India at least to launch a new course in One Health. What is One Health is a big thing, so I'm not going to discuss that, but that is the big change. If you are interested, go to the Open WHO, see One Health. There are a lot of things are there. Google it, you will get it. And when we launch the course, maybe next academic year in university, you will be knowing more about that. So this is a new approach in the management of healthcare came thanks to COVID-19, which was stalled, which was not moving for pretty long years. Public awareness has increased, there is an increase in consumerism. What is consumerism? When you pay, you demand services, right? It is not no more doctor is a god. You whatever you say, it is everything right. No, I pay, so I demand, and this is what is happening. Increased consumerism. So there is a suit to the hospital on consumer court also if services is not given. Why I'm talking about this thing? Because being a healthcare manager or being a potential healthcare manager, these all has implications to your career, to you have to deal with. Mass media attention was never so far in healthcare. Social media now, see, everything is related to COVID and healthcare precaution, this and that. Health tech and fintech, these are the two important. The startups, I also work with the startup ecosystem. So with iHub, in Hyderabad. So health tech is playing a big role in healthcare, and everybody with their organization like big hospital or the pharmaceutical company, government, all are embracing health tech for the fastaining their innovation and addressing the unmet need of the patient. Fintech is improving, like teleconsultation. Just think, there is no UPI. How difficult to pay a doctor who is sitting in maybe Chennai and patient is sitting in the very remote area in maybe Pulwama. Now it is happening, right? Thanks to fintech, which helped the healthcare, teleconsultation in particular, and so many other innovations. These are the things happening on that. Be prepared. I'm going to ask you the next question on that. So this report is published recently, I think 1 week back, by McKinsey & Company. It talks about the estimation by 2022, how the revenue will come from different sources to a healthcare organization. If you see this graph here, it is two kind, blue and black. So black is outpatient and blue is inpatient. The first thing you notice here is that the black portion is growing more than the blue. It means that the revenue to the hospital is going to come by 2022 more from the outpatient rather than the inpatient. In earlier, if you just reflect upon any hospital, any big hospital, the major revenue comes from the patient hospitalized, doing surgery, getting so many diagnostic tests. That was the major source of income, which is going to change thanks to COVID-19. Second thing you notice here is that virtual care is going to grow phenomenal. Virtual care. So a patient need not to go in a hospital to get a health care. This is simply what it means that. Now, this is again modeling by McKinsey & Company based on the some sort of patient survey done by whether the patient will be willing to take services from hospital or healthcare outside their premises. Basis that many of the services which is right now inside the hospital can be segregated, can be done at a retail level. Retail level means that at the away from hospital, like I said about the school in front of me is Apollo Hospital, which originally is far away, maybe I think 20 kilometers away from Jubilee Hill Apollo Hospital. So this kind of change happens. It vaccination, specialist consultation, laboratory imaging, taste and other things. So many things can be put at the retail level, at the different level. So this new model is appearing in healthcare. As a healthcare managers, you need to be cognizant of these changes. You should be knowing what is going to shape the healthcare industry, and you should change your career. You should prepare yourself to face that, the situation, to be on that. The most important thing what emerged in this healthcare, in this COVID-19 in healthcare, is that you see the data for like Aarogyasri data. It doesn't matter where you have taken the first COVID-19 vaccination. You can take at another center using the same app vaccination, right? This is a simple thing. So how keeping the patient at the center, entire ecosystem can be designed. Entire ecosystem means not only the healthcare, but related, like the gym. There is a shift here. People earlier used to feel patient or feel giving attention to healthcare when you are in hospital, but no more. It is every time, all 24 hours, while you are running, while you are working, while you are watching TV. Actually, you can transmit your healthcare data. Your healthcare can work 24 into 7 around the clock and serve you in the system. This can be made that. These are the new approach which becomes important. It was there earlier, but not moving, now moving, getting fast forward approach. Now, before coming this, which is, I wanted to know you from your side, other than Abhilasha, I request anybody who will respond that. Abhilasha said that she want to be a manager. My question is a little deeper on that. What you want to do in a whatever position you are, manager, a general manager, a vice president, doesn't matter, in a healthcare system. How you will impact in healthcare. So request to any one of you would like to share it. Anybody's name start with P?
Sir,
Yeah,
good evening, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Good evening, sir. I'm Rishu Panwar. Sir, as a manager, like as you asked, what I see myself in 5 years. So for that, I want to become a NABH assessor, sir.
Okay.
And what I will do is, I want to make people aware about the schemes of the government which they are providing, because they are making the schemes, but they are not actually reaching the population. So they are not able to make best use of it. So I would make a system like an NGO or something where I can work for those people in making them aware about these schemes, sir, and make best use of them.
Excellent. So what you said, if I need to summarize in a different word without going nitty-gritty of that, what I see that you are going to impact the healthcare system through NABH assessor, but ultimately you want to make some sort of institution, right? This is the job of a leader. What happened in healthcare, the leadership skill was not given due importance. All the medical doctor, when they get trained in MBBS or postgraduate, they get trained in technical part of that. The education in the leadership skills are not given in formal education. Actually, I had done a big study on that long back in 2013 and presented in a international medical education conference. There, the Medical Council, including Medical Council of India, was present to note down our recommendation from the conference. And I was told a little later that Medical Council of India, some of the suggestion which was put out of my research and recommendation got incorporated in their curriculum as well. I don't know how much they are getting followed, but bottom line here is that leadership skill is something very important. That's why the number 4 point I have written, healthcare professional leadership. What SCP had learned in medical school are not enough to face COVID-19 like situation. Like it happened actually in this time, exactly 1 year back in February 2020, when the first case came in January actually in Kerala, and by February and March it was in Hyderabad and many parts of the country also. People didn't know how to respond that. The healthcare technical or non-technical people, they never face this situation. A leader should be a leader can actually face a situation which is never seen in past. That's the power of a skill called leadership that is not got due attention in past. So this is going to happen now, and this required, for example, now you must have seen that recently Dr. Devi Sethi recommended that how to bridge the gap between the required healthcare professional in this COVID time to manage the patient who are getting hospitalized in COVID care and hospitals, are to be seen in with the telemedicine, the caregiver, and there is a huge gap available healthcare professionals versus what is needed to take care of this lacks of the patient right now. Dr. Devi Sethi said that deploy 4th year MBBS student who has done all theoretical study, they are waiting for internship, or the student who are appearing in the entrance examination of NET for admission into the PG level education. This is good to say, and government accepted that and doing that. The most important problem and challenge, I tell you, is there with the healthcare leaders to whomever they are going to report. It requires a different skill to a healthcare doctor or in charge of the hospital to utilize these people, the MBBS student who are never done practical much enough in hospitals because they have not done internship aid, how to utilize their resources. And you need to utilize it because there is a deficit of talent. So these all things is coming up, which is never happened in the past, right? So you require out-of-box thinking. Deploying 4th year student is also out-of-box thinking. Technology adoption, working with remote team, because now, like I said, Apollo Hospital in Jubilee Hill, but in my neighborhood, they need to manage that. So how to manage a remote team, people working here, handling matrix team, volunteers or outsourced from the different company or different department, different kind of institution. And the most important, you all study in organization behavior, OB. The role of the skill, OB skill, is very high, highly required in healthcare. And doctors are not trained on that. You people should bridge that gap. Anybody have any question here? Because I'm asking questions to you. Anybody want to ask questions to me? You can ask right away before I move to the last topic. Any of you? Okay. If not, then let's move to the 5th element, which is more close to you, is the healthcare management profession. So I call you, there is a tendency that everybody working in healthcare is called HCP, but you are a little more than that. You are a healthcare management profession. So your responsibility is more in the sense of, I will explain it a little later here. You will see that. So now I have many questions to all of you. So you can respond in the chat box as well. If you are having shy to speak, I prefer to listen you because I can't see simultaneously chat box as well as my system. So it is time to reflect. At this time, when the world is changing in healthcare, are you entering into the right kind of profession? Yes or no? You say or type?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody says no, we entered in the wrong profession? Okay. No, some people, one of my friend's daughter, the friend's wife is very concerned because her daughter is a 4th year student and she has to send her daughter to COVID center. She is worried that why you have asked her to do MBBS. Now and her life is in risk. That kind of risk is there in profession, right? So it doesn't matter whether healthcare management professionals or doctor, you have equal risk. Anyway, so nobody said no here. What larger role you see playing in healthcare space? Anybody want to respond this other than the previous two students? Think by the time I move to the next question, and any one of you can respond any of this question, what kind of skill you need to acquire. Now I've given a picture about the future of healthcare. What kind of skill? So this is an easy question, right? So would you respond this question? The person's name starts with S. Whose name starts with S? Nobody. Student's name
There
starts
are
with,
a few people, sir.
yeah. So please respond. What kind of skill you need to acquire to face the changed COVID-19 scenario in healthcare management?
So good evening, sir.
Good evening. Tell your name and
Yeah,
what you want.
my name is S. Rajendra Reddy. Sir, my name is Rajendra Reddy, and I want to be in a position where I can give a data-driven insights to improve the quality of care with maximizing the use of resources, sir.
Very good.
As we
Excellent.
as we talk uh, in the healthcare, we always talk about the accessibility, quality, and affordability. So when I compare regional and urban areas, so majority of the services are provided in the urban areas are with high quality, but the cost is also high. But in rural area where quality is less, even in the price is also compared to urban area, same. So I want to be in a
Okay.
position to maximize the use of resources that are allocated and to minimize the cost and to provide a better health care in a limited resources.
Very good, Rajendra. We appreciate your concern for the rural and economically low economic level people. I think that is the need because the base of pyramid is like that only. Anybody else? Any of these questions? Okay, let me, by the time you are thinking, you interrupt me. Anybody want to respond? Please interrupt me and respond at any time, right? So who is going to on patient? Now, a peculiar thing I observed as a consultant to healthcare, I observed that, and you all are experienced in that. Something as a patient, when you go to a hospital, something happens related to heart, the cardiologist or his team or her team is responsible or feel accountable or respond to that. Something happens in the related to administration or payment or something like that, admin team respond that. Something lead to surgery, surgeon and anesthetist respond that. So the healthcare system and a hospital system is eight work as a piecewise. They play their role fragmented. But who is owning the patient as a whole? Even hospital, you can say hospital owns that ultimately, right? So CEO of hospital owns that. But patient, the moment patient goes from hospital getting discharged, patient comes out of hospital, who owns the patient? Something happens to the patient. Hospital said that we have already discharged him. We have taken the payment, full payment they have given, and we discharged him. We don't know what happened to the patient. That is very unfortunate, right? As a human being, as a patient, who owns the patient? Because a specialist doctor, a specialist paramedics, a specialist medical professionals, they own their part of job. Healthcare managers, healthcare healthcare management professionals should take a bigger responsibility to own that. Whatever position or level you are there in your sphere, in your circle, your scope of work, you should own the patient, not only inside the hospital A to Z, outside the hospital. What I mean to say that you should be taking ownership for the experience a patient is getting off, on, before, after coming to your hospital. And this is not an altruistic thinking. This has an economic reason. You all know that whenever you are a healthcare manager of hospital, a patient comes to your hospital, he get a good experience, he will recommend to his 10 relative and patient, right? And you know the word of mouth, how the hospital get popular, not by big billboard or big advertisement in the newspaper. Now coming to your career, your profession, this is important, very important slide I have taken again from McKinsey report. They have published a report how COVID-19 is going to change the employment in next few years by 2030. They have taken 2018 as a base year, 2018 base year, and 2030 as a projected year. And you see they have identified few geographies. India is one of the important geography, so they have put that also. If you read here, the top few like health aides takes care worker. Blue is type of graph showing that as there is an increase. So total is 100. So increase is not just over the previous year. Increase is on the cost of the other profession. Remember that. So all profession, even the black they depicted here, is also going to increase. The employment going to increase, but not on the cost of others. Here it is totally 100%. So the health aides takes care worker, science, technology, engineering, and math professionals, health professionals, and managers. These are the top area which is increasing across the globe, including in India. That is good. So my first question was that, are you at the right profession? Yes. This data by McKinsey says that, assures that you are at the right profession, being a healthcare manager. Now, I asked the question that what are the skills you should be having that? So let me refer it another in response from the 700 healthcare leaders, not healthcare actually, overall organizational leaders. It was interviewed. People asked that what kind of new skill you want to see after this COVID. This research is done after onset of COVID. So the skill building is more prevalent, which we also observed during the COVID time than what it was earlier, and which kind of skill they are talking about. So this is important. If you read here, interpersonal skill and empathy. Empathy is very important in healthcare in particular. Basic digital skill, project management skill, again will be very important for you being healthcare profession, and leadership and managing others. These are the skill you should be focusing more on building in you to be successful in post-COVID-19 or COVID-19 era in making a successful career in healthcare management. I'm ending. I have now two slides. I think I'm not keeping the time. I think we have 10 minutes of the time. So you have any questions, you can ask that. I will close my talk in next 5 minutes or 3 minutes rather. Patient experience, I was talking about who should own the patient. You should own the patient. That's why I put this slide here under your chapter, your head, that you should be not only during the owning the patient, not only during the treatment in hospital, even before and after, and how using the technology. I also said that health tech and fintech revolutionize the health system. And with the help of health tech, you can monitor patient, you can impact the patient care without being a medical doctor. Actually, when patient is it not come to your hospital or your patient got discharged out of your hospital, and you can actually build a sort of equity for your organization. Not only that, a big service to your patient, the humanity. So be prepared to embrace this technology. I'm not going to read everything. This slide will be shared to you. Go through this and try to reflect upon what you are think you can do, what you should learn more, and improve your employability to get employed in the post this COVID-19 era. That was my last slide. Actually, just as I said that I have done a lot of research in healthcare provision education, presented into WHO sponsored international conferences as well, got published. I also worked with University of Hyderabad. I feel very proud working with. We have launched last year before COVID-19 actually, and with collaboration. I am Joint Secretary of Infection Control Academy of India. So we have launched a collaborative 1 year postgraduate diploma program, which is running now. The second year admission is already completed. We are going to start the classes this month itself. This I feel proud about, and we are going to launch 2 more courses with University of Hyderabad for in healthcare. One is in One Health, other is in AMR, antimicrobial resistance, very soon. I'm actually founder member, key member for India in Customer Experience Professional Association. You can read my blogs in customercentricity.in. You can connect with me in LinkedIn, Twitter, or through mail. That's all from my side. With this, I'm open for questions if you have any comments from the faculties here, and any one of you, anything I can help you further on.
Can I make one point, sir?
Your Professor Vivek, please do that.
You have raised a very, very powerful point when you said that all departments in a hospital, they work in silos. And this happens even in the pharmaceutical companies. Sales department works in a silo, marketing in a different silo, HRD, finance, and there is no interaction. And the question which you raised, what happens to the poor patient? And some time back, I had floated the idea that every pharmaceutical company should have a chief patients officer, somebody at a C-suite level. And from what I'm listening to you today, I think even hospitals should have a person who is designated as chief patient officer and whose only task and his team under him to look after good patient experience. Thank you very much for raising this very, very important point, sir.
Thank you, Professor. I repeat, Professor Vivek Hadangani is author of many books. He has 40 plus, I think 46 years experience in healthcare and pharmaceutical. He is an executive coach. He trains a lot of healthcare professionals. He is based in Ahmedabad. I see Dr. Ranga Reddy here, who is the president of Infection Control Academy of India. We jointly work with University of Hyderabad. Professor Ranga, if you want to make any comments, you can use your voice. I know you are not well. I will not insist you to put your video on, but if you want to make any comments with voice, please do that. And then session is over to Professor Shida.
Pranavji, I have sent a question. Please read it.
Okay. Let me see if I can. Yes. When the technology is becoming core of healthcare with AI, ML, etc., what is the role of healthcare managers? My God, this is a question. Actually, I put these questions to the audience, to the healthcare manager. What do you see that? All of you are going to be healthcare manager, right? So, would you respond to these questions posed by Dr. Ranga Reddy? When the technology is becoming core of healthcare with artificial intelligence and machine learning, what is the role of healthcare manager? Any one of you?
Yes, sir. Artificial intelligence and in healthcare, sir, healthcare needs a human touch. Though the robots or a machine can do a lot of things with better accuracy, the human touch at the end of the day is very much important. So I think even if a robot performs a surgery, it's a human or a doctor who explains the family how the surgery went. There is always a scope for a healthcare manager to do so.
Good, Abhilasha, but anybody else, you being a healthcare manager, what the role is going to be? How you are going to use that? Be specific.
Manage the AI and ML, sir. There should be someone who is checking how the process is working and all.
So AI ML is an example, but how you will be using that? So think a little bigger. At the
developing the software,
yeah.
testing the software.
Yeah. So that is the important thing, right? You need to be a curator. You need to be a aggregator. because there are different technology. Doctor may not be knowing that, like AI and ML based DSS, distance clinical distance support system. That doctor can be trained, but who will going to spot that? Who are going to find out those solutions? You should be able to look out those, collaborate with such an health tech organization, incorporate that into your system.
Sir,
Right?
one more point I would like to add, sir. Like providing healthcare is not just important, sir. A quality healthcare is very much important, and I think a manager's job with AI and ML will be to provide a quality healthcare to the patients, to make sure that everything is right and happening in right up to the standards and everything. So I think that is very much important.
That's good. That's good. We have another 1 minute. If anybody want to make a comment.
Sir, to add to this,
Myself,
I have
Abdul Razak Sheikh, sir.
Yeah, Abdul.
So I have a question for you, sir. So actually, so we are in a critical situation with this COVID, sir, right?
Right.
So in the hospitals nowadays, they are charging about double or triple rates for the treatment. So as the healthcare directors, directly, indirectly, we are playing a role in this maintaining the charges. So how can we manage this charges? So we have to think about this jobless people as well as the poor people also. So
Okay.
how
I understood your question. Because of the paucity of time, I'm going to state answering this question right now, so that I will not ask opinion of the other people. See, why a hospital is charging more? As I said in the beginning, many of the IP income, income from endoscopy, income from the angioplasty is not there. They have to manage the infrastructure. Think you are an insider, right? If you are an employee of a organization or a health manager of a hospital, you have to manage its profitability also, right? It has to run. Here is the role. Here is the potential role. If you take learning from what we discussed right now, or how the future is shaping, how the business model is changing from the IP to retail healthcare, I think you will be able to compensate the loss which is there from the IP services, get more revenue from the retail services, OP services, decentralized services, so that the hospital can meet its requirement of the maintenance of the hospital, and then no hospital will charge it. That is the economic sense of that. It looks very saying that very kind of vocalist people are saying that why they are charging, but there is a financial compulsion. I'm not saying that this is good, they should not charge, but understand, being insider of a healthcare system, you should understand, you should have empathy towards your organization, to your system also, to understand and find out a solution. As a manager, you have to give a solution, not working as an activist. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. With this time is over, I hand over back to Professor Shita, please.
Thank you, sir. I would request Sita ma'am to speak a few words.
Well, it was a very educative, very relevant for the students. I think, he gave a very good overview about what healthcare management is all about, and what students, in terms of skills, in terms of opportunities, is in store for all of you. So I think, this was a number of takeaways from this, 1 hour lecture. Very informative, very educative, very comprehensive. And then thank you, sir, for enlightening all of us, including our students, on this issue, which is very relevant as of today. And as you rightly said, these are the people who have to take it forward the next 10 or 20 years. We don't know as of now, sitting and watching the events that are taking place. So everything is by surprise. So they will have to make up their mind. Well, I'm very sure I will not see much of this. So, well, thank you so much, sir, and we request you to just come back and advise our students whenever you have time. Thank you. Over to Abhilasha.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I would request Acharyu sir to give few words.
So thank you, Pranav ji, for giving a valuable information, and students will really benefit from your talk, and would like to see your association in future also, and kindly extend your cooperation, and would like to do some kind of collaborative work in future to improve the program, healthcare and hospital management program, and also we'll see some projects, programs, training programs, workshops, those things we will plan, sir. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for inviting me.
Right, sir. Right.
Thanks a lot, sir,
Thank you, sir.
for your insightful session.
Thank you,
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Your presentation was so
Thank you very
powerful,
much.
sir.
Looking forward to see you soon.
Yes, yes. Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Most welcome. Most welcome to the school.
Yes.
Okay, sir, then. Thanks for your time. Good evening, sir.